Okay, so I'm very welcome to this reaction video. I've rarely found a video where YouTube and how YouTube works and how it can benefit your business, especially if you have a technical business, as we here in this channel are going primarily discussing how to grow technical businesses. And so I want to do a reaction video on this video because it really, I couldn't have done any better describing how YouTube works and why it's still worth it, because there's a lot of noise out there. 2022, 2025, but it's actually still worth the effort, opening up a new YouTube channel and continuously putting work and effort and energy and money in it. But especially if you like in B2B context, and if you have like well-priced products and services, particularly in the tech industry, it's still really interesting. And so let's dive into the video because he's explaining a few things that are really important.
People never make it past 1,000 subscribers. Not because they're particularly bad at YouTube, but simply because they couldn't survive the invisible growth phase. Now, what you might not have known is it took MrBeast over 2 years and 300 videos to hit his first 1,000 subscribers. Now, he could have easily just given up after a year and a half, but he didn't. He powered through the invisible growth phase, and now he's the biggest YouTuber in the world. So in this video, I'll explain what the invisible growth phase is.
He needed, I think, did he say 2 or 3 years for first 1,000 subscribers? 1,000, yeah. And now he has like 20, 40 million or something, I don't know. So that's a very good example how long it takes at the very beginning.
And how you can survive it. And at the end of the video, I'll also share a quick 4-step plan that you can take away with you right now and start straight after this video. So firstly, it's important to note that the algorithm doesn't hate you, and it's definitely not working against you, even if it feels that way sometimes. It just doesn't know who you are yet. And the truth is, the algorithm doesn't judge creators, it simply just reacts to data. So when you upload a video, YouTube quietly pushes it out to a small test group. That group may or may not be interested in your content. Some of those people will simply just scroll straight past your video and ignore it. But some other people in that test group might watch, click, and maybe even subscribe to you. Based on the results of that small test, YouTube will then decide whether or not to test it again, this time to an even bigger group of people. The better your video performs in each test group, the more push the algorithm gives it. Think of it like a matchmaking system.
I think this is very important that you keep reminding yourself that how the YouTube algorithm isn't a super smart, intelligent thing. It is dumb as hell. It's anything new that comes to it. Let's say you as a creator, a new YouTube channel owner, or whatever, you're opening up a new YouTube channel. You're totally new to the algorithm of YouTube, and it doesn't know anything about you. So therefore, everything is based on testing. So basically, that's what I keep saying. Um, what you might know already by paid ads. Everybody talks about testing, split testing, ABC testing, testing until you have a winner, and then you build up the next ads on the winner. Why would it be any different in organic? It's the same principles. It's just that it's happening in the background, and YouTube is basically doing the testing for you, because it has only one single goal: to keep as many people as long as possible engaged on the bloody platform. So if it would be like the dream world of Google, Alphabet, and Meta, and so on, everybody would have a chip in his brain and be basically 24/7, 365 days a year plugged into basically the net. You know what I mean? So
The algorithm is just trying to pair your content with the right audience. Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it gets it wrong. So just stop blaming the algorithm. Like, it doesn't have feelings. It's not out to get you. It just doesn't know who you are yet. Now, your job as a small channel is to keep uploading Keep testing and let your profile data build up behind the scenes, because the more data that the algorithm has on you, the better at matchmaking it can become. And that's then where exposure comes in, because your channel isn't small, it's just underexposed. This stage, the small channel stage, isn't about talent. Like, you don't need to be the best editor in the world, you don't need a fancy camera, expensive lighting, or years of storytelling experience. What you do need though is just to learn how to get discovered. And getting discovered on YouTube as a small channel is all about your titles, your thumbnails, and your SEO. As I've said a million times, the video itself, yes, it matters, but it only matters after someone clicks.
Yeah,
And
this
right,
is sadly, but it is very true. It's like basically the title and the thumbnail, as dumb as it sounds, where it's basically just a word in a picture or something, and the color, and it's basically just a picture and a couple of words, which basically make the big difference whether it's clicked on or not. And in many cases, if you do that very well, and even if you have like a really big channel with lots of clicks and everything, or you see like very developed channels that may have like, I don't know, one video, 100,000 clicks or something. In many instances, if you would look at the analytics, then the average, let's say the video is 10 minutes long, the average watch time is maybe only 2 or 3 minutes. But this is usually something you don't see from the outside. All you see is like, oh, this video has 100,000 clicks, 100,000 views. Wow. You know, that was a really good video. Maybe it was a good video, but you don't see the watch time. If you would see the watch time in the one or the other video, then basically you would see that okay, it maybe only was a good thumbnail and a good title because the watch time was actually very short. So there were a lot of views, and which you recognize as views also from the outside, but in fact, the video itself wasn't that popular. Having said that, that usually it's one of the big criteria is how long people actually watch the video, because we know that YouTube wants us to be there as long as possible. So it will probably then over time, if that happens very often, kind of like punish in a way this channel and the creator. And also it will also like in the midterm, long term decline the views if nobody's watching it too long. So it will, but it does, and this is very surprising. This is really astonishing. It does give a lot of credit simply to the fact if when people clicking your video. So it's kind of like yeah, it's nice when your video is really great, but most importantly, people click it. Yeah. So that's basically how it works on YouTube.
right now, the reason you're not getting views is because people aren't clicking. It's not that the algorithm hates you. It's just that the people the algorithm's trying to show your video to simply aren't interested in it. But look, overall, your mission at this stage is simple. Don't obsess over perfection. Obsess over clickability. Your title and thumbnail are your handshake, like your first impression. Nail those two things and you'll start building exposure. Now, I do have a short mastery course dedicated to titles and thumbnails, so if this is something you need to improve, which I can bet it probably is, then hit the link in my bio and get my titles and thumbnails mastery course now for 50% off. This then brings us on to the 100 video rule, which is where a lot of small creators go horribly wrong. But the one rule I always share with small creators is you need to make at least 100 videos. Not just for practice, which is still a huge aspect of which we'll talk about next, but also because every single upload you ever post is feeding the algorithm valuable information. Like, YouTube is a machine that learns through repetition and pattern recognition. Like, every title you write, every thumbnail you design, every viewer who clicks or skips your videos, it all becomes part of a data profile around your channel. Like, the algorithm starts to learn who watches your content, how long do they stay for, who skipped past, what types of titles attract your ideal viewer, which videos bring back returning subscribers, and so much more. So each new uploaded video is like a new data block. And over time, those data blocks compound and build up. This allows the algorithm to start piecing together patterns about your ideal audience. And when that picture becomes clear enough, it begins recommending your content more confidently to the right people. So the more data blocks you give it, the better the algorithm gets at being able to find the right audience at the right time. Now, sadly, most creators quit before this data stack has had enough time to build. But the ones who keep going will eventually hit the tipping point. And the tipping point is super important, but we'll discuss that next. So the real challenge is this, look, can you stay consistent long enough for the algorithm to truly understand you? Like, can you survive the quiet phase before the compounder kicks in? Because most people think that consistency just means uploading every week, but that's only half the equation. If you upload 100 videos without learning, evolving, or improving anything, that's not grinding, that's just autopilot, that's just ticking boxes. Like, the only type of consistency that actually works on YouTube is evolving consistency. You upload and you tweak, you test, you reflect, you look at your last 5 videos and you ask yourself, what can I improve by at least 1%? Now, you might think that 1% is like an insignificant number and that won't change anything. But if you improve by just 1% per video over 100 videos, that's a 100% improvement since where you were when you first started. Like,
His way
really
of
think.
thinking is really, really deep and professional. I mean, there's so many things in what he's saying. Basically, um, it's really insane. I mean, I don't know where to start, but I want to make it pretty sure because it's also one thing is for sure that YouTube is basically substitution of television. It really takes your time, especially if you have interesting things to watch, and so it really like robs your time. And but that's pretty much more or less the purpose of the whole thing. And it's also kind of like a danger as a consumer. But what he is saying is basically the tipping point and also this automation thing, because a lot of clients also like coming to me and say, Thomas, I can't even be bothered. Like I agree with you. I need to do a YouTube channel. I'm a software developer or like I have an IT business, but I really can't be bothered like being in front of the camera and so on. Let's do it fully automated. We have like HeyGen, Synthesia, 11 Labs. Everything is AI now anyway. But this is not the way how it works, and that's exactly what he's saying. I'm so grateful that he's actually mentioning it, and because this is so important. It is not just enough, to set one content engine like fully automated with N8N and or Make.com and then HeyGen and then a super nice avatar which looks exactly the way I do, and then have like some other like automation with ChatGPT, which generates automatically the transcript, and then it's just running on its own, and it's uploading and generating like 3 videos per week, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, I never need to touch it anymore, never ever, especially in the beginning when I actually need to sit down and after each single video need to see, okay, what can I do better each single week, each single month, you know, this reiteration, is basically the opposite of this fully automation because, I could be totally crazy and like, set up an AI system, yeah, that's basically doing this also on automated, you know, but that's quite a big thing. And even then, you need to have a look at it because the AI, if it's getting too complex, is not perfect, and only you know your business. The AI doesn't know. I mean, you can train the AI over time, but this is something you need to do manually. You need to tweak manually. You need to iterate the learning curve so that AI basically knows your business after a while better than yourself. But that needs time and then that needs involvement. It's not like, okay, put one automation and then like, okay, that's it. You need to keep working on even the automation itself. And so that's a very, very important point here.
Think about that. So you always need to improve something with every new video you post. Even just 1%, guys, it makes a huge difference over time. Now also, look, it's all well and good posting loads of content and growing your YouTube channel or your social media channels. But what most small or new creators often forget about is online safety. Now, my top tip is I never publicly share the email that's tied to my actual YouTube account, and you shouldn't either. Like, don't put it in your video descriptions or on your channel's About Me page. There are so many hackers and dodgy people out there, and making your login email and sensitive data public is just asking for trouble. Like, way too many times I've seen big YouTubers have their entire account stolen just because they publicly shared their channel email and clever hackers got into it. Now instead, I always suggest creating a completely separate Gmail account just for public use. Like that's the one you'll put in your About Me page or in your video's descriptions for things like collabs or business inquiries. And by doing this, you never put yourself at risk of having your channel data fall into the wrong hands. And I think it would genuinely surprise you at just how much of your personal information is actually floating around online. And I don't just mean your name or your email, I mean like phone numbers, location data, bank details, your website history, and so much more. And the scary thing is, you probably never gave permission for most of it. That's because of shady companies called data brokers, which are companies that collect your data, package it up, and then sell it to advertisers, scammers, or literally anyone who's willing to pay for it, good or bad. And as a YouTuber, especially starting out, your digital footprint grows fast. The bigger you get as a creator, the more time you spend online creating content, the bigger your digital footprint gets. And it becomes harder and harder to stay in control of what's being shared about you.
For just $37, you can generate as many videos as you want and never have to worry about.
And that's where something like Incogni is super helpful. They're an online data
All right,
privacy
so
tool
now
that
he's
I've
coming to pitch.
personally
I
been
mean,
using for
IT security is a pretty important thing, no doubt about it. But I was wondering why he's bringing up this so deeply because now he's pitching his product. Okay, fair enough. Um, let's continue because obviously there's a downside. If you do like personal branding and stuff like that, obviously people will know because this is the purpose. People will know about you. This is why you're doing it. But if you're like paranoid about whatever, it depends what area you work and stuff. Which a lot of it, I worked with a lot of IT security experts as well in the past, and they kind of paranoid, obviously. That's their job to be paranoid. Um, so they don't, for example, they don't even work with Teams or with Microsoft tools or whatever. They're just like, yeah, some of them are really crazy. But okay, I think um, that's a topic on its own, and there's no help being too paranoid or too scared in life because it won't get you anywhere. Um, and in general, this is basically what we need to basically do in order to build our personal brand. But anyway, so
Now, if you've stuck to the 100 video rule, if you've consistently improved your titles and thumbnails, and if you've let the algorithm collect enough data and learn who your content is for, then you're already doing the hard part. Because eventually, all of those efforts compound. And that compounding effect leads to something very powerful. We call it the tipping point. This is a moment where your videos stop struggling for clicks and they start becoming recommended more aggressively. It's when YouTube no longer tests your content in random pockets, but instead it knows exactly who to show it to. And suddenly the
okay, on
numbers
this
start to
point,
shift.
I'm
Your
not
views will jump,
100%
your
sure
subs increase,
because
your
I've
dash.
seen a lot of channels, especially also in Germany, where they grew over time. They put a lot of effort in it, like to get 100,000 the subscribers. The first plate of YouTube, like this. Well, like in 100,000 subscribers in Germany is like with a market the size of German speakers, only like a 5% of what there are like in terms of like English speakers out there. 100,000 subscribers is probably is almost as much as like a million in English language, more or less. And so it's pretty much. And but then I see like in recently in last recent months and years that although they have like 100,000 subscribers, they're only getting like 500 views or 1,000 views or something like that. And then other channels, they have 100,000 subscribers and they're getting like 200,000 views. So I think there are like areas where it's not all about the algorithm. It is about markets. It is about trends. It is about topics and what the people are in what in what kind of like status of mind the people are. You know, if everybody in Germany at the moment is like scared about, I don't know, about kind of the next big crisis, and they want to like suck these information in, then and you do videos about that topic, then you will have a lot of views and a lot of followers and stuff, you know. But if you do like a dry and boring like business video, and we are like in a kind of like recession and nobody really wants to hear about business or whatever, or it's like totally boring or whatever, you know, or for whatever reason, you know, the people are not interested in the topic, then you can do what I mean, there's nothing you can do, you know. Basically, your views will decline, you know. And I don't think he's mentioning this kind of thing here. Let's see what is the for plan here is.
Watching right now, here goes a simple 4-step plan that you can take away with you and start implementing right away. Step 1, redefine what success means for you.
Yeah,
So firstly, look, stop obsessing over views, likes and subscribers.
this is exactly what I just said.
What
You
does
know,
true YouTube
do I
success
just
look
want
like for
views?
me?
You know, as many views as possible, or do I want the right views? Like, am I satisfied with 500 views, and then maybe 100 of them like are really like my potential clients? So maybe I'm gonna earn like 50,000 euros a year with, you know. So that's really good point. I don't have. Okay,
Is
so I'm gonna cut
accountability that
here
keeps you
because I need to do
consistent,
a lot of things. So
shared lessons that
Sunday,
save you time and
I
frustration.
took my time here, but it's I still need to do a lot of work. Okay, then talk to you later, guys. I hope this video could help you. I'll share it down here, and but I hope my comments also are going to help you, because I kind of like I give you the insight from an IT industry perspective, and also I don't know where he is from, but things in different continents and countries and markets also work different, you know. And um, people in the US sometimes they engage a lot more than, for example, in some countries than in Europe, you know. So, okay, see you later.